everyone, Graham here from therecordingrevolution.com with 5 minutes to a better mix, our second to last video here. We're at the end of the series. We are at the end of our hypothetical, theoretical mixing process. And one thing I like to do as I'm sort of referencing other mixes, we looked at that yesterday when we were balancing out the low end and the top end with EQ, is you can use a multiband compressor, if you have one, to really even out the bass, really even out the low end some more. It's also a tool to get more bass in your mix if EQ alone isn't doing it. But even if you don't need just more bass, but you want a more consistent bass bottom end on the whole mix, a multiband compressor can be a really great way to do it. Now, what is a multiband compressor? And I don't have a ton of time today to go into all of it, and I'm not the smartest guy on the planet, so I can't show you everything that could be done with something as complex as this, but it really is a lot simpler than it sounds. A multiband compressor is a compressor, just like any other compressor that has a ratio, a threshold. It turns down the volume of things. That's all it does. But it can do it on different bands of the frequency spectrum, okay? So it's not a compressor on your whole mix. It's just a compressor on certain frequencies of your mix. And in our case, we're going to just look at the low end. So the way Ozone's got it set up initially by default is 4 bands that I can just compress everything from 20 hertz to 120 hertz. Everything from 120 hertz to 2K, and 2K to 10K, 10K to 20. You get the idea. So let's look at basically setting up compression settings on everything below 100 hertz or so. I'll dial this down to like 100 hertz. So we can engage this multiband dynamics plugin, and then basically I can press play and just zero in on the low end. Right? So we're just hearing everything below 101 hertz on this band. I could bring in the low mids, mid-range, but I'm just going to focus on the low end. And then all I'm going to do is set a ratio here of 2:1. And then you can just adjust the threshold. If you look up here on the right, you can see when I bring the threshold down, you can see the gain reduction. 2 dB, 2.1, 1, 2.6, 3. So I'm doing, again, a nice conservative amount of gain reduction on just the low end. Now I can go back to the output gain or the makeup gain and turn it up a little bit. Maybe 1.8. Right, so let's bring everything back in. Now all I've done is compressed the low end on the mix, because this is on my mix bus, this plugin. It's compressing everything below 100 hertz a little bit, from 2 to 3 dB on the big hits, kick drum and bass, and then I'm bringing up the overall volume of the low end by 1.8. So it's making everything more consistent up front. And so here I'm going to basically press play and bypass what we've done with multiband compression, and you can listen for the kick drum and the bass guitar. See how you get more apparent bass? It's not really louder as much as it is constantly a more upfront volume. So it's a great way to get more bass in your mix, and it's a great way to get more even bass in your mix. If the bass guitarist or the kick drum was, even with a little bit of individual compression, not 100% upfront, or you lose some of that as you layer the mix, use a multiband compressor just on the low end to push out the bottom end a little bit more. It gives you a little bit more polish, a little bit more consistency, and in some cases, if you need more low end in general, it's better than boosting an EQ like crazy on the mix bus. Hope that helps your mixes. Again, this is Graham at therecordingrevolution.com. Stick around for our final 5 minutes to a better mix tutorial tomorrow. It's going to be a good one. Thanks for being a part of this. We'll see you then.